Hello! I recently acquired this guitar, which is a Maverick F1. I picked this up second hand for about £180, and this thing is probably about 10 years old, and surprisingly it is in incredibly good condition. There are practically no marks and scrapes on it, and yeah, it's looking good. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just stringing it and setting it up and checking it over, and I figured I would film my progress and what I'm doing and maybe teach you a thing or two in the process. So here we go. Okay, so the intonation is to correct how the guitar stays in tune the further up you play. Okay, so you might have a perfectly reasonable E chord down here that's perfectly in tune, but by the time you get past the 12th fret, you play that E and it's really out of tune. So like doing octave chords and things, if you've got a nice octave here, but when you come up here, you know, the higher note is too high or too low and it goes out of tune, but you are perfectly in tune, then that's an intonation problem. Okay, so these are the bridge saddles. Let's get this up here. So these things, there's an individual one for each string, which is a good thing. On some guitars you have one that controls 2 strings, which is a pain in the arse, like old Telecasters and things tend to have those on. But the individual ones are what we have here, which is good. So what you're going to need for this is a screwdriver, usually with a little end on it. That should fit the screws in there, which this one does perfectly, which is good. And a good, accurate tuner. This is a Yamaha YT250, which is a very old tuner, but this is about the best tuner I've ever owned and ever used. And they don't make them anymore, which is really annoying, but hopefully this one will not die. It's done me well for about 15 years, and it's incredibly accurate. So what we need to do is place the tuner down there and get a guitar lead, plug your guitar in to the tuner. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that. You see that? Okay, I'll show you on the tuner. There we go, we can see that. Okay, so what we're going to do is pluck the string when it is open. There you go, perfect E. Okay, then we're going to play the harmonic on the 12th fret. Another perfect E. And then we're going to fret the note with a finger on the 12th fret. Another perfect E. So if all of those 3 line up perfectly like those did, you are perfectly intonated. And you can go up to the 24th fret if you've got one. And that's another one. Again, minutely flat on that 24th fret, but up to the 12 and past there, we're pretty much spot on, which is kind of what you need for this sort of stage. So let's do the same with your B. So we'll play a B. Tune that B so it's perfectly in tune. Harmonic on the 12th fret. That's another good B. And then fret the 12th fret. That's another one perfectly in tune. This is very good for a very old guitar. So then we'll do G. Another perfect one. I mean, like, this is insane. D. And there you go, open string, 12th fret, and D. Aha, we have one. Okay, so this D, you should be able to see, is ever so slightly flat. Okay, so it's a little bit below. It's not quite perfect. And then the 12th fret, harmonic, is perfectly in tune. So, now, we need to come back to this end of the guitar. There we go. Okay, what was that? D. Yes, D. And keep checking on your tuner. So this is your D saddle. We want to get your screwdriver in here. And because this is slightly flat, we need to loosen the screw so this comes forwards a bit. Okay, thus shortening the string, thus moving that note up a little bit. So again, very small movements. Half a turn, to a turn, and then we try again. This was very, very minutely out of tune. Let's try that again. And there we go. Perfect D. Okay, good. So let's do the others. Again, let's see if you can see this tuner, which I don't think you can there, but I'm going to put it there anyway. That's an A. Okay, that's your 12. That's your open string. 12th fret fretted. Slightly flat again. Okay, so same deal with that one. We want to unscrew, moving the saddle forwards. Oh, that's quite flat, that one, so there you go, and that is perfect. And then E, low E, and that is perfect. Okay, so bad example. Oh, that's interesting. Bad example, this guitar. Well, good example of how intonation can just be perfect, which is good, except for the D. But bad example on how to alter your intonation. But basically what I did with that D string is you essentially shorten the length of the string so that fretted note and that harmonic just line up a bit better. So if you have a note that is too sharp and you need to go down a bit, you bring the saddle back, so you screw the screw in to bring the saddle back, thus lengthening the string and moving that note back into place. And if your note is too flat, you need to loosen your screw, moving the saddle forwards, shortening the string, moving it up into place. So I only had to do one on this guitar, which is crazy really, and I love it. Okay, so now what we have is a perfectly in tune, perfectly set up, perfectly intonated guitar. So any chords I play down here, when I play them up here, they are still in tune, which is what you want. Octaves. Are in tune all over the neck, and that is your intonation done. So those are the 4 basic steps. I tend to do a lot more and a lot more tweaking. Again, I'm going to do the frets. I'm going to probably recut the nut just to fit the frets, but I'll do that when I've done that. I'm going to probably change the pickups. I might put a new switch on and things. But for now, I think this is about done, and it is playable, and it is lovely. It's really nice. I like the sound. Actually, it's quite good. I love my new guitar. So yes, when I do the frets and the nut and things, it's going to be even more magnificent. And yeah, I love it. All in all, a good purchase. So hopefully you've learnt some things. That's my basic process of setting up a new guitar when I get it. See you.